Hello, and welcome back to the most regularly scheduled programming in the history of professional wrestling. It is Maltov in the morning, and we're starting the day off with some awesome news. As I always encourage you guys on Thursday mornings, if it's your first time listening, please go ahead and check out the New Age Insiders Wrestling Radio Show. It is the Wrestling Radio Awards 2018 live show of the year, and it is available now on iTunes, Podomatic, Lork Normal, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, newageinsiders.com, really wherever you're taking in your podcasts. It's up and waiting. We play the rating game. We talked about really the people that a lot of fans tend to either overrate or underrate, or at least those are the words that get thrown around on the internet when these stars get on the screen. And so we talk about whether or not they are properly rated and are introducing a new concept where you guys can get involved as well. Something that obviously wasn't available last night to talk about because it's breaking news this morning. According to Squared Circle Sirens, one of my absolute personal favorite stars in the world and somebody who has been on the New Age Insiders Wrestling Radio Show, Deonna Purrazzo, has reportedly signed with the WWE, and it seems like it's a very standard procedure kind of deal. Sign with NXT, report to the development system, get some training, debut on NXT, see where it goes. Seems to be the path ahead of her. She's not going to be skipping any steps. She's not AJ Styles, sorry. But she is a tremendous talent, only 23 years old, already the first ever Ring of Honor, Women of Honor champion. She's just someone that's known wherever she goes for putting on top self matches. She is, I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but I'm going to. Fujinawi armbar. There's some sort of armbar she does where she's a specialist, but she is a legit star. I saw her for the first time at Progress, I think it was, about a year ago now when they came to Boston. Shout out to TK and the guys, and we all went to, I think it was Progress. It was a show where I had never seen her before. And you see her go out there, and she's just got a ton of confidence, and she's very different, and she's very unique, and a legitimate talent, somebody that obviously Ring of Honor was getting behind in a big way. She's an announced participant in All In, and it's just, I think it's great news. There seems to be a new wave of women coming into the development system. I know Toni Storm seemed to sign a deal that's either, I think it's for the UK, one of those UK deals, so it's not necessarily a straight up traditional developmental deal, but Toni Storm, who's already participated in the Mae Young Classic, is now, getting back into the WWE system, and with her, and again, somebody who's also young and so talented and so highly thought of, she's only a matter of time. Toni Storm is, before she's a WWE, full-time NXT WWE roster member herself. And there's the Japanese star who's coming in, who was a big deal in Stardom, who's coming over here, and she's going to be part of this new crop, this new wave. You see NXT do this about every 2 or 3 years, where all of a sudden there's this lump of real solid talent that's coming in together. You just recently saw, Dijak, the War Raiders, Ricochet, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. Within the last year, all of those big independent names have debuted for NXT. And so that goes to show that we're doing the same thing, and they're putting the same amount of time and attention in to revitalizing and refreshing the women's division as well, which is awesome. It deserves that kind of attention. It deserves that kind of... There's so many talented female stars out there that they need to get scouted and looked at just like the guys do, because they can really add a lot to these shows. It's not pandering. It's not just words. I've been to these shows, and Deonna Purrazzo was one of the takeaways. I don't remember much else from that Progress show, but I remember her. And again, we've had her on the show. We're going to be reposting that interview on newageinsiders.com so you guys can get to know a little bit more about one of NXT's reportedly newest signings. We haven't heard anything from her or WWE yet, but again, Squared Circle Sirens got to it first, and it seems like that's making its rounds, and a lot of reputable sources out there are running with it. So it sounds like it's happening, and it's totally believable. And for people saying, well, she's got All In September, we know for a fact, like when Dijak signed with NXT, and we weren't allowed to tell you, we had to let him kind of tell you, even though we knew for like a month before that. Same thing with Warbeard. We knew Warbeard had signed like 3 weeks before we were allowed to say anything. But with Dijak specifically, the deal is you sign, you come to terms, you tell WWE, look, I've got these dates locked in. And they tell you basically whether or not they'll let you fulfill them. You know what I mean? And it sounds like Deonna Purrazzo, hypothetically, went there, came to terms on a contract for a developmental deal, and said, I am booked for these shows through the future. And it sounds like, until we know for sure, at least, again, speculatively, WWE is going to let her run those dates, including All In. And it's also very cool for her. You know, she very well could have her last independent date be All In, which is unbelievable because it's going to be the greatest independent wrestling show that's ever taken place. And that's not hyperbole and not exaggeration. And you guys know me, I do not like to call everything the biggest and great that's ever great, because then what happens is when something like All In comes around and actually is the greatest and biggest ever great, it loses its effect. It gets watered down because you hear it so much. But this is a real example of that this is potentially the biggest independent wrestling spectacle ever produced. And that could be her send-off. And I think it's a smart crowd. It'll be a smart crowd full of hardcore wrestling fans there that will probably do the right thing and send her off in a big way. And then what a week she might have if she goes from All In on September 1st to like reporting to the Development Center. Now, I also don't know. Just the caveat here is I haven't heard anything. So none of our people and none of the, we know some people that currently work for the company and people that work with the company. And I haven't asked. I just kind of, I started my day and was getting some stuff done. And then this came up and it was like, it's a perfect topic for the show. So I haven't asked if any of this is true about Purrazzo. I don't know. But so far, as of this broadcast on May 31st at 10:20 a.m., she's A, signed with the WWE in a development way, and B, allowed to be All In, which is terrific because I'm looking forward to seeing her. And this isn't pandering either just because she's been on the show or just because she's so darn pretty. I was looking forward to seeing Deonna Purrazzo almost as much as at least anyone else. Like, I've never seen Kenny Omega live before, so I'm looking forward to Kenny Omega because I've never seen him live, and that's going to be pretty rad. But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing Deonna Purrazzo too, and I really hope she gets to keep the date. And I'm just super stoked for her because, we did have her on the show, and she sounded like just a total sweetheart. Like, she sounded like a really nice person who was working really hard and was earning her way, paving her own road and paying her dues. We talk about this a lot on the New Age Insiders Wrestling Radio Show, that, when you go backstage and we got to work, we work for a promotion, right? So every third Friday, I'm backstage in a locker room with people ranging from, somebody you've never heard of who's wrestled for a year to Tommaso Ciampa shows up about once every 3 months, right? And I get to talk to him. And so seeing that range of locker room experience and shelving and all that stuff, what I've also seen is hardworking women paying their dues like the guys, hitting the gym, watching what they eat, hitting the road, getting paid less for the gig than it cost for gas, taking a loss. You've heard CM Punk famously talk about how he would drive 100 miles for $50, and that's a loss, but he did it because he loved wrestling. And I've seen women do the same thing where they hit the road. They probably got paid less than the guys anyway because it's a bullshit just world we live in. And they hit the road and they go work for $25 and break their balls and work their asses off and want it just as bad. And so when you see someone like Deonna Purrazzo who's working her ass off, doing the right things and getting her name out there, to see her get rewarded at only 23 is unbelievable. It reminds me of like when Sasha Banks got signed at 19. It's also interesting because we've talked firsthand. So when William Regal came to the New England Pro Wrestling Academy and did a session and scouted those kids and put on a seminar to talk to guys like JT Dunn and all sorts of guys about what it takes to be in the business, he brought a WWE talent scout with him because the WWE talent scout, just like William Regal, was there to check out the kids and see if anybody was any good, right? And the WWE talent scout said something that was super interesting was, I won't touch you until you're 25, and I won't pick up the phone if you're over 35. So basically the window to get signed with the company traditionally is 25 to 35. If you're under 25, they're going to tell you to get lost and keep stewing, and keep improving and keep getting better. And if you're over 35, the odds are they're going to pass. Now, obviously, they signed Deonna Purrazzo at 23, and I think AJ might have been over 35 when he came in. But look at the difference. Deonna's a special talent you're getting young, and AJ Styles is a world-renowned guy who's established. It's not a new dude who we're going to try with. But it also speaks, just a reason I bring that up is just a note to her talent. That we talked to an actual WWE scout, the guy with the ability to sign people, right? Say that if you're not 25, we're probably not interested. And they were interested in her. Tells you a lot about her and the talent level that's coming into the company. Just really happy for Deonna Purrazzo. Really happy that NXT is still constantly focusing on a solid women's division, because now they're getting right back into the mix of some of the best women's wrestling in the world. You know, they've taken a little bit of a hit when the call-ups happen, like they always do. That's what NXT is. But like Shayna Baszler is doing great, and Nikki Cross seems really interesting right now. And Dakota Kai, another person that was at that very same, she was in the match with Deonna Purrazzo at that show I went to, and Dakota Kai is doing awesome stuff. And so I just think it's great. And I, as somebody who has seen her work and gotten a chance to talk to her, I'm excited. And I think there's a lot of reasons for fans out there to be excited about Deonna Purrazzo. She's one of those people that we talk about and we kind of leave it open-ended where we go, who out there is left on the independent scene that you want to see WWE go after? She's always at the top of my list. And I think that it's a great choice. It's just a good story. And I'm so happy, and I hope it gets validated, because now what I'll do is I'll do an entire show about it this morning, and then the show come out and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. It was a lie. And that'll be great. But hey, I like you anyway. And the last point I want to make about Deonna Purrazzo signing is, yes, she has a famous boyfriend too. She is dating and has been publicly, this isn't like, she's putting it out there on Instagram. She doesn't care if you know. She is with Party Squirrel. So Party Squirrel is her boyfriend, and they are usually on the same shows. They're both on All In. They work together a lot. But the reason I bring that up specifically is I was just secretly hoping that Deonna Purrazzo would be the first female in the Bullet Club, but that won't happen now. But anyway, then they could have kicked her out. It would have been fun. But with Party Squirrel, Marty Scurll. That way I know his name. But his name is Party Squirrel. And with Party Squirrel, this is great because, look, I'm not telling you that WWE, needed her to say good things about the WWE to intrigue Party Squirrel to want to maybe live his dream of working in the World Wrestling Federation. Duh. But what this does is open up that channel and open up that pipeline of communication. And if she has a good experience there, getting a guy like Marty Squirrel, who I think is somebody who's very much on their radar because A, he's young, B, he's super talented, C, he's British, so he's an international star, and they seem to really be revving up their UK priorities right now. And also, as a business perspective, yeah, Vince McMahon would love to sell you a $65 umbrella. Would love to. Are you kidding me? The Ring of Honor did it, and because of the way Ring of Honor or New Japan, I don't know who actually did it, but they did a limited run and they only did 500. There would be Party Squirrel umbrellas at every concession stand at every live event you could go to. Whether it's raining or not, folks, those umbrellas were going to sell crazy, and they're going to be $65, you know it, because the briefcase is $75. They might be $75. Who knows? The briefcases are $75 flipping bucks. And I don't even know if they open. I don't even know if you can actually use it. I think it might be $75 and not a workable briefcase, which is just dude, help me out here. But yeah, they would love to sell Marty Squirrel umbrellas. They'd love to do that. It's a home run. And so that's just an interesting footnote. And no, I don't think they signed her to get to Marty Squirrel. I think they signed her because she's good enough and she's her own independent talent, and she's great. And I'm excited. But yeah, the idea that maybe if they're traveling so much and their schedules are so different, and it makes him more inclined to come to the WWE maybe earlier than he had planned on because he loves this woman and wants to be with her more. Well, that's a great bonus because I love Marty Squirrel. Party Squirrel is one of the best wrestlers on the planet for my money right now, and I'd love to see him in the company. He's got a plague mask and everybody hoots, and he's got umbrellas, and he's weird. He's in the Bullet Club, and he called me an idiot once at a show, and so I just like him because it was fun. Everything about this story of waking up to Deonna Purrazzo signs with WWE makes me happy. So huge congratulations to a star that deserves this level of attention and excitement. Those are my thoughts on it, instead of just getting it up there and sharing never-ending articles about everybody saying the same thing that sounds like she signed. I wanted to give my actual thoughts on it, which is great, psyched, awesome. Great move. Good for her. Happy for her. I say this all the time on Wednesday nights, live at 8 o'clock on twitch.tv/New Age Insiders TV, or you can listen on newageinsiders.com. I say it all the time. I root for dreamers. This is what the three of us are doing. We have a dream. We're trying to get it done. We're trying to live a dream. And wrestling is a dream. And most people don't make it. And if Deonna Purrazzo is going to be one of those people that does make it, well, it seems like it couldn't happen to a better person. And a really, really talented pro wrestler, which is exactly what Deonna Purrazzo is. So I'm psyched. I'm stoked for her, and just can't say enough good things about it. That's going to do it for this edition of Maltov in the Morning. If for some reason you want even more of me, and really the reason you should do it is for my co-host and producer, the New Age Insiders Wrestling Radio Show is available now on newageinsiders.com, iTunes, Podomatic, Lork, Normal, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. It's up and it's waiting. Everything we do is on newageinsiders.com. Highly encourage you to check that out. So one last time, with huge congratulations to Deonna Purrazzo. Well-deserved. Can't wait to see you at All In, I still hope, and in the future in NXT. Awesome, amazing stuff. Congratulations. My name's Jason Maltov. Go check out the New Age Insiders Wrestling Radio Show, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.